Springing the trap continued. The other suitors nodded and spat on the ground. Then a voice came echoing from the shadows by the door. I was an archer once, in the days of my youth. Antinous turned and looked at the old beggar. He lifted his lip in a sneering smile. You might have been an archer once, but now you are a nobody. The beggar continued. I was an archer in the days of my youth, and I wonder if there's still enough strength in these old weather-beaten arms to draw a string across that bow. The suitors threw back their heads and laughed. A hail of bones and broken crockery flew through the feasting hall, but then Telemachus got up to his feet and raised his hand. Enough, he said. Enough. Antinous, are you afraid that the old beggar will put you to shame? He smiled at the old beggar. Old man, show us what you can do. He gave the bow to the old beggar. Odysseus felt the smooth, familiar wood against his hands for the first time in 19 years. He set the foot of the bow on the floor at his feet. Slowly taking his time, he began to bend it. Slowly he drew the string across it, and then with one finger, as though he was playing the string of a lyre, he plucked the bowstring. It gave a beautiful clear note like a swallow's song. From high above the roof of the feasting hall there came an answering rumble of thunder. The suitors sat and they stared. Then the old beggar took an arrow and he fitted it to the bowstring. He drew the bowstring back and loosed the arrow. It flew clean through the rings of the 12 ceremonial axe handles and lodged quivering in the wall beyond. The suitors gaped, goggle-eyed. The old beggar smiled. That match is played and won. Now for the second. He took another arrow, fitted it to the bowstring, and drew the bowstring back and loosed the arrow. It flew straight through the throat of Antinous. He fell face down on the ground, his legs kicking, and then he was dead. The suitors leapt to their feet. The old beggar jumped up onto a table, and Telemachus jumped up beside him. Athena, invisible, reached into the hall. She touched the old beggar's shoulder. Straight away the hawk-like light came back into the eyes, the broad shoulders, the thick arms, the fine clothes, and the dark curls returned. The suitors ran to the walls to grab weapons, but all the weapons were gone. Odysseus and Telemachus loosed arrow after arrow after arrow. The suitors ran to the doors. They rattled and shook them, but they were locked from the outside. Again and again father and son loosed their arrows. And when the arrows were spent, each made his way across the hall with a sword in one hand and a spear in the other, swinging and slicing like reapers in a field, gathering a grim harvest of death.